And welcome to this new video in which I'm gonna explain you guys the difference between the wold and local transform. So I'm gonna drop a cube. So first we're gonna just see like the difference, and then I'm gonna explain it more in details by creating a basic blueprint. So as you can see now, I'm in the world. It's a little bit like Earth stuff. So when I move my objects, no matter if it's rotated or not, the axis, so this is like the X, Y, and Z axis, that's always the same color. X is red, Y green, and Z blue. If I'm in the world axis, there's gonna be always the same axis for whatever object. Then if I switch to local, no difference in this object because the object is aligned with my world grid. All right, this is like the world grid. But on this one, since it's rotated, now the axis it's actually based on the object itself. Here it's based on the object itself. Now that I rotate it, you can see that it's still following the object. So that's like having this this grid a little bit through the that's the opposite here, through the object. It's weird with the mirror in the camera. So here we go. That's the difference. So now I'm gonna create a basic blueprint. So blueprint actor moving cube blueprint, and in this blueprint you have your component here, the default scene root, which is, I'm gonna drag it so you can see in real time. This is just like an icon to say like, hey, there's like a blueprint here. This is the pivot point. So I'm gonna add a cube, and you can see in my scene it's like refreshing in real time. So the cube, if I offset from the 0 point, you can see up, and then if I move to local, same as before. So here you can see when I move it, it changed the location based on the point 0. When you press the little arrow, you can reset the settings by default. So you have your viewport, construction script, and event graph. So we're gonna use mostly event graph and viewport. So the event graph is to use the blueprint. So when I have my cube selected, because it's a moving cube, so I want to move it. So if I have it selected, I can create an event or function related to this cube, or I can drag it to my scene, and then when I drag it out, everything in my list is about this cube. So for example, I can say like, well, I want to move it, right? So move, but the problem is it's more like CAI move component move to. So I could do like move component to blah, but this is like not what I want at all. I want to move it. So when I move it, see how these values are changing. So that's what I want to move, to change. So I want to add, for example, on the X axis 200. So we can see this is a transform, and I want to change what? I want to change the location. So if I type location, then here we go, having transformation of my objects, all of the options based on location. So this is for the cube because it's in between brackets. That's actually weird that it showed me like first target is scene component. So this is to move the entire scene because I drag from the cube. That's why I was like, oh, it should actually show me the cube. Yeah, interesting. Location. See, because like when you have to be careful when it's like on brackets, So then it's grabbing my cube. But usually if I go like this, I should actually have the cube, and I don't know why I don't have it. Anyway, that's not the problem here. It's something really easy and straightforward. So target is scene component, and you can then choose your target here. So if you go like this self, so that's gonna be the scene component. But if you go like, hey, well, I want to move my cube, so you can actually move only this cube. So the cube's gonna move, but the pivot point's gonna remain the same. So to do that, in Blueprint, you need to have an input to actually fire this event. And to fire this event, this function, or like whatever we're gonna call it, no, function something different if we want to add a function, but this node, we can say, for example, event beginning play or event tick. So that's the most used. Event tick is every frame, every tick of your game that's gonna fire something from it. And event beginning play, it's firing one time. So if I go like this and I say, well, so add me 200. So now when I have my cube into my scene, when I play it, you can see like here it's firing one time. And moving cube. Now the pivot point is here, but the cube moved 200 from the pivot point. So what we can do, actually, we can go like this. So the x-axis will be here, so that's going to be a little bit easier to see. Okay, so now to make it a little bit more clear, if I go like event tick, alt click to remove the node, and if I play it, then it's like the cube is just like flying around because the so it's too many cubes. There was that one because there was also a moving cube, so it just like went away. It's because since it's doing it every frame, it's adding 200, 200, 200, 200, and so it's just like flying off. So to avoid this, can I just up? We can say like, hey, for example, actually that's gonna be like variable and test. So that's gonna be the subject on another video. So I'm gonna just like continue with this to finish this local and world translation. So now it's a local offset, and then like if we want to go with the world location, so if I add a world offset or set world location, I'll just put my phone on silent because someone is like spamming me of messages. So every tick, we don't need that because we're gonna set one time the position, so that an offset is like we add a value to something. If we set the location, it's just set of this coordinate. So for example, if I go like beginning play, and I set the position of this cube of the point 0, 0, 0 of my scene, when I play it, poof, it disappeared. So if I go eject, so the game is still running with eject, but we can see our cube is in position 0. So this position here, it's the position 0 in the world. Okay. So this is the difference with the world location or like local location, because at local transform, it's transform, it's to have like a scale, rotation, and everything. So we can't add set the local transform because the local location we can add a local offset, but adding like setting the local location like the world location, it doesn't make sense because location and say like let me grab from here set relative location or set world location, because set relative location that will be from here, so we can actually offset this. So let's say, for example, we started offset. So here in our scene, this is like totally offset. But then, a begin play, we're gonna just put something here so we see where it started. It's gonna be a bit easier. And I'm gonna just change to something like yellow. Okay, so it started here. So now what's gonna happen, it's like when you begin play, it goes 0, 0, 0. So up. So now it changes back to his pivot point. But even if we have 0, 0, same as before, this is like the local location, so it's based on these values. So this 0, it's actually there. It's not the world location in which the 0, 0 will be the center of the world of my scene. So this is like something really important for moving on from there. So I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed this video. On the next one, I'm gonna explain, gonna introduce some basic blueprint with Boolean variable and a test if with a branch. That's what we use a lot, and we can already do a lot with this. So I will see you guys then.